What? Pooh, what a move. Well, okay, I will take a coffee.
And while Kramnik grabs a coffee, we're going to dive in on this outrageous behaviour, even by Kramnik standards. Now, this is a game he played entitled Tuesday on the 19th of March, early edition. Who's his opponent here? Playing e5 on move 1 after Kramnik goes e4. Well, it's a young Ukrainian FIDE master, 14-year-old Tykhon Cherniaiev. And if you've been in the chess space for any period of time, you'll be familiar with this guy. And that's significant later, as we'll see. Now let's have a look at the moves and then the behaviour that transpired. So Kramnik goes for this Roy Lopez. We're not going to spend ages on the early part of the game here. We'll get to the juicy stuff. We see this strange move, which Prague has popularised, the Kotsio defence. Kramnik goes knight c3, not the sort of big pawn centre stuff. We get knight g6 and an early d4. A little bit dubious because it's almost terrible. There's this very common trap, I think it's called the fishing pole or something, and after this b5, bishop b3, you go c5, queen moves, you trap the bishop. But here it doesn't work. White's got queen d5, hitting the rook, or immediately taking with check, then queen d5. So okay, no captures. Instead bishop c5, now knight f5, bishop e3 also possible. Castles played, castles by Kramnik, and d6 standard developing stuff. Now bishop e3, Kramnik playing simply here. Knight recaptures, white slightly for choice, got the central space, and after king h8, the black plan is apparent to push f5, but first you, whoops, drunken click there, you clear the diagonal. Just kidding, it's 6 o'clock in the UK, I've not yet been drinking pints of beer. We see knight c to d5, Kramnik hits the outpost, very standard, f5 comes on the board, pawn recaptures, not recaptures, bishop takes, knight takes, rook takes, it's getting liquidated, and now the favourite move of the engine here is either an immediate g3 or c4 supporting the knight. But Kramnik goes c3, really natural structure, takes control of d4, bishop can slide back, but after queen g5 is ever so slightly uncomfortable. Knight e3 played to hit that rook. Now it should stay on the f-file as the top way of the engine, but rook e5 played, slightly strange because arguably this knight wants to hop there, but now Kramnik actually helps black out. You should keep this bishop on the board. Go g3 immediately, but Kramnik takes. I mean, that knight didn't have a great future, so not the best positional move. Pawn recaptures, queen f3, and this is his point. To target a weakness, you don't even have to defend it. You can just bring the forces, the knight's hopping in. It's a very dangerous attack. But d5 played anyway. Now rook fe1 from Kramnik. Rook f8 hits the queen, queen g3, and very naturally we don't see an exchange but queen e7. If you're black here, you want to attack, the queen's a bit misplaced, ready to have tempos picked up on it. So knight c2, Kramnik recognising the danger. He's going for exchanges here. The knight does a good supporting role, but great move by Tykhon here, knight to f4. Intercepting the pressure of the queen, of course, and threatening this monster check. Family fork or royal fork, would you say? I don't know. The queen's going to drop. So we see takes played. Queen recaptures, and now again, if you go rook e1, challenge the file, there's this big check and you lose an exchange. So instead, queen e3 played, queen g5, maintaining the attack, good move, and Kramnik now goes knight e1. Note, you can't go queen g3, which looks natural, or again there's the fork. So instead knight e1, covering g2, queen h5, nice probing on the light squares. If ever g3, you're now nicely positioned. You're also threatening a check in some lines. So knight f3 from Kramnik, and after queen g4, threatening mate in 1, knight e1 repeats the position position potentially, but Kramnik wants more. He pushes g3, and this is the moment, folks. Tykhon comes up with a move which blows Kramnik's mind. If you want to pause here, look for it. It is the second best move of the engine line, but then the first best move of the engine line is quickly followed with this second move. So both ideas are connected. Now, the move which black played here was the excellent pawn to d4.
What? Pooh. What a move.
You also could have started with the check first and then gone d4, but it's a really cute idea. Kramnik takes with the knight, but what happens if you take with the pawn? Well, then there's knight d5, picks up a tempo on the queen. Wherever it goes, this knight now drops, because when the black knight moved, you opened the rook, of course. Very nice. So pawn takes doesn't work. What if queen takes? Well, that's easily refuted by knight e2 check, picking up the queen. Also, the knight was loose as well. No good. So by process of elimination, Kramnik takes with the knight. You can't try and put the queen elsewhere, by the way. It's really bad. And now we see the knight h3 check. King h1, not king g2, or else the rook's crashing through with check. But now the knight takes with check. Here, king g2, queen h3 check, beautiful attack, the king steps back, knight g4 hits the queen and threatens a huge check here. In fact, mate, because the rook's covering the f-file. So queen e2 laterally covers. Rook f2 would be curtains, but you can't yet play it, or you get branked. So we see h6, that's back and rank, by the way, back ranked, branked, a portmanteau we've discussed before, and now queen g2 from Kramnik looking to exchange the ladies. Now the top engine way to play is keeping the attacking pieces on, the king's exposed, you know, it's lifted the kilt, but here we see a takes instead. King recaptures, rook f2 check, and now the king staggering up the board. You'd love to deliver a checkmate, except it wouldn't be. The knight drops. So h5, supporting that one. Threatening mate in 1. Don't go rook h1. Incredibly passive. You can go g5, shut in the white king, and then you're going to deliver a mate if the rook ever moves. Or once you move this rook away, there'll be a knight f2 check on the cards, winning the rook. So instead, the king moves further up the board. Rook h2 check. Now king g5, c5 dislodges this knight, this one centralizes, and these next few moves, they're not of such importance. Basically, black is winning here, doing very well, but more importantly, Kramnik is playing incredibly slowly. He refuses to pre-move, as he's acknowledged in all of his comments and when you watch him stream. As one commentator put it, or commenter, sorry, you move slower than my grandfather. Kramnik really does, and he loses on time here. He scores very well in Title Tuesday for a guy who never pre-moves, to be fair. This was the final position. Kramnik loses on time, and then proceeds to do this.
Okay, let's do the procedure. Block. This is first what I do.
Sorry about that, wrong clip. He does this.
No, I mean, one move, clear indicator to me. I mean, it wouldn't even like cross remotely my mind, such move. I mean, even in classical game, I'm not sure. In Blitz, no chance at all. So everything is very clear to me about this game. I report, I block, and report. Well, okay, I will take a coffee. This things happened, unfortunately, happens often. Too often, I mean, much more than it should happen normally. But okay, so I take a coffee and I continue the tournament.
And for me, this is just outrageous behaviour. I had to make a video on this because yes, Kramnik's reporting everyone for cheating, but this guy, right, if you've been in the chess scene a while, you know this young Ukrainian chess prodigy. He works so hard. He's been on multiple YouTube videos. I remember him on Chess24 back in the day, doing a session with Peter Svidler, I think. You know, he really works hard at his chess. He's probably more than an FM, just maybe hasn't played enough over the board chess. Very, very strong young prodigy. Sure, there's this very, very tiny outside chance he did cheat in this game, but I just do not believe it for an absolute second. He's a genuine young man. When you see him playing, he's just a great chess player, and that's now the standard that Kramnik's setting. Play a great move against me and you're not a GM, bang, you must be cheating. Just ridiculous to my mind. And he hides behind some of this statistics and math stuff, right, when he's accusing Hikaru, or not accusing as Kramnik would say, but this isn't statistics, this isn't maths, right? This is just purely lost the game, don't like the move. And the other thing to add here, the icing on the cake, the accuracy of this game by the player playing black, you know, Tykhon, it wasn't even over 90%. I mean, look at that, just crazy to me. So a bit of a rant in this video, right? But it's just winding me up that Kramnik is reporting everyone. Nothing's really coming back on him, but I feel it should be. Because if you're going to keep dragging people's names through the mud, then something surely has to be done about the serial accusers accusing with like no evidence. They just had a move played against them that they didn't like. Crazy to me. Anyway, there's my rant for the day, for the week. I hope you enjoyed. Do let me know your thoughts down below, and smash subscribe if you love these chess videos. Really helps me out for another epic game of chess. Have a look at the video on screen, and thanks a lot for watching. Cheers.